everyone, it's Jade here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. So in today's video we have a very exciting video and it is my completed pages for March. So what I wanted to do with this video is I wanted to ask you guys to let me know in the comments down below which one is your favourite picture, so which one out of these completed pages is your favourite, and then to also let me know which one that you didn't like the most, just because it'd be interesting to see which pictures you guys like and which pictures you guys didn't like as much. So without further ado, I think we should jump in and get started. Okay guys, so the first book that I've got here is the Disney Portraits book. So this one I got off Amazon. It was about £5 I think, and I decided to do the Donald Duck page. So I used the Arteza pencils to do Donald Duck. I've actually got the 120 set, so that's what I used to colour him in. I did have to look up a reference picture for Donald Duck because I'll be honest, it's been so long since I've watched any Disney films that I completely forgot what outfit he wore. So I had to Google an image of him so that I could get his clothing right and get like the right sort of colours for him. So that is what I found online, so I'm hoping it is right. And then for the background I used acrylic paint. So I used a pink colour on the top and then a yellow colour on the bottom, and they'd already drawn in this sort of line along here, sort of sectioning this into two parts. So I thought I'd work with that and then do like pink on top and yellow on the bottom. And then what I did was used the same paint but on the opposite side and just sort of added little blobs onto this to sort of add a little bit more of the yellow colour into the pink sections and the pink into the yellow sections, just to break it up so it's not all one block colour. But this is how it came out, and as you can see where I've put the paint on, it's almost like 3D. So they are like little blobs, they stand up off the page. But I think it gives quite a cool effect. But what I would say is if you guys are going to try this effect, make sure you leave your book open for like 3 days so that it has time to really dry, because I left mine for a day and then I closed it, and as you can see I've got pink and yellow paint on this side. So it took about 2 to 3 days to actually dry, and I think it's just because of the amount of paint that was on there. The background itself dried pretty quick, but these little blobs, they took a while to dry. So yeah, but this is how it came out in the end. So that is the first one from Disney Portraits. Okay, next we've got Rita Berman's book. So this is her 4 Seasons book. So in this book I like to do pages, like for example when it was winter I did the Santa page. I like to do whatever season we're in, I like to do a picture in that season. So as we are in spring, I decided to do this picture here. So this is one of the Easter pictures that she's got. For this one I also used Arteza pencils. So all the background pink and these blues was done with Arteza pencils. And then with the gold rims I used a gold gel pen. So if I bring it up, you might be able to see it's a little bit sparkly gold gel pen. So I just used that on these little borders that we've got here. And then for the blue section, I literally just did like the dark blue in the corners and then the lighter blue. And I left it white in the middle. So I wasn't sure about leaving it white. I did think about taking the blue all the way across, but I didn't know if it'd be too much on the page, like too much colour on the page. So you guys will have to let me know what you think. Should I have took the blue all the way across? But yeah, this is how it came out. So all the sort of pink backgrounds and everything was done with pencils. So it did take a little bit longer to do, but I think it came out quite nice. And then with the sheep, I went round them with a white Posca pen just to make that fluff look a little bit more fluffy. And I did yellow ducks. I thought they were like spring chickens, so I did them like a yellowy colour, and then I realised that they're actually ducks and I've done them yellow, so unfortunately I can't change that now. But yeah, this was this page all finished. Next we've got A Million Sloths by Lulu Mayo. So in here, I decided to do this picture. So for this one, I used the Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils, mainly for sort of like the flowers and this water section with the little boats. The background I did with acrylic paint. I did actually start with a watercolour paint, and I put that down, and when it dried I looked at it and I thought I actually really don't like it. So I thought I'll go back over it with an acrylic paint, and I chose this sort of like greeny bluey colour. So I just literally went over all the background and covered up all the watercolour. So this paper is like really thick now because it's covered in lots of paint. And then I used some Posca pens to go around and outline things like on this flower here. I outlined this in pink so it didn't have the big black lines around it. And I did the same for all of these little lily pads. I went around them in a green paint pen so that you can't see the black lines on there. And I thought that just made it look a little bit less obvious without the black lines. So I did that, and I did think about doing these lines in here as well, but I didn't quite have a colour that would match, and I didn't want it to all sort of like blend together. So I thought I'll leave them in. But I think my favourite part about this is this little purple boat here. This one is my favourite boat. I thought I'd do them all sort of different colours. So we've got green, orange, purple and pink, so that they were really sort of like bright and stood out on the picture. So yeah, this was potentially a fail, and then I covered it in the acrylic paint. So you guys will have to let me know what you think about that one. Okay, next we've got A Million Mermaids by Lulu Mayo again. Now for this one, I completed this page. So as you can see, I'd already done the other side. And when I do one sort of side, I always like to do the opposite side as well. I don't know why, it's just like a habit, I guess. This one I actually finished today, so it's very newly finished. For this, I used the Coarse Pastel pencils, and then the only other thing that I used is some white Posca. So I went round some of these dots of like bubbles in the water with the white Posca, and the waves here I went over with the white Posca. And then in here, she's placed all these like little stars and bubbles. So for them, I used a green and a really dark blue metallic gel pen. So just went over all of them to add a little bit of sparkle to the page. I don't know if you can see it at all. Oh, there you go. You might be able to see a little bit of sparkle there. And then for the white bubbles that I've drawn in, I've added a little bit of the green gel pen just to give them like a little bit of a reflection on there. And then some white Posca pen for some highlights on the hair. But other than that, this was all the Coarse Pastel pencils. So that is this page. Okay, next we've got one from Tales from the Forest Kingdom by Hannah Carlson. So this picture was actually a colour along on my channel. So if you guys want to see how we did this, or how I did this, you can check this out. All the videos are still live. So this was done with the Brute Furnace square pencils. And I think that's all we used on here. I did use a little bit of white Posca just to add like some highlights to the windows. But other than that, it was all done with the Brute Furnace pencils. So I'll just bring it up so you can take a look. I'm really happy with how the little ladybug turned out. Well, she's quite a big ladybug, isn't she? I think she looks really nice, and she does definitely stand out on the top of there. So that was really good because I wanted her to be like the main feature on the roof. And then in the background here, I did like I think they call it Bohemian style, where they do like the little circles and then leave like little white bits in the background. But yeah, that was all filmed on my channel. So if you guys want to see the step-by-step colouring for that, you can watch the videos on there. And I just want to say a big thank you to everyone that did colour along with this and for watching the videos. So that is that one. The next book that I've got is Dreamlings 2. So this again is a new book that I got in my recent Amazon haul. And I decided to do the first page. So for this one, I went in with the Black Widow pencils. Now, if you guys have watched my channel before or last month's finished pages, you will know that I didn't really like the Black Widow pencils. I struggled to get them to blend. So I want to try them in different books to try and see if they work better in different books and different sort of papers. So I used them in this book, and to be honest, they worked a lot better, whether it's just that I'm getting used to them and how they work, or whether it is just the different paper that makes a difference for them. But as you can see, like, I used them and sort of blended them together in the water, so you can see the blend lines, but it's not quite as harsh as the kind of blend lines that I was getting with them before. So I used them for all of the water and the fish and the house as well. And then for the background, I went in with some soft pastels, and I did like a dark blue and then added some black just in some random places to try and make it look a bit more like a nighttime scene. I didn't want it to be like really dark because the sea was quite dark, so I wanted it to look different. I didn't want it to be the same and sort of like matching all really dark blues. And then I went round all the stars in the background with a white Posca pen. And I thought, I've got these new watercolour paints and they're like iridescent, like metallic-y, glittery kind of paints. So I wanted to try them out on here. So I went over the white Posca that I did on the stars with this sort of like iridescent paint. And I don't know if you can see it on camera, but they are like really shiny. Even the moon's really shiny as well. So I actually really liked how that turned out. I think it gave like a cool effect on the background. So that was this one. Then next I've got 50 Ocean Miniatures by Camellia Angel Cover. Again, this was a new book that I got in my Amazon haul, and this is the page that I completed. So I used Castle Art pencils for this, and then just a little bit of white Posca to go in and add some highlights. But that is literally all I used for this page. So I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking, I really wish I'd have done the seal in a different colour, because she kind of blends into the blue background, if that makes sense. So on hindsight, if I could go back and change it, I would definitely do the seal in a different colour. But as a finished page, it's probably not my favourite. It was very much fun to colour though, to be honest, because it's got so many different sort of undersea like little creatures and shells and all sorts of things, so it was good to colour, but probably not one of my favourites. So you guys will have to let me know if you like it. And then last but not least, we've got March's picture from Johanna Basford's 2022 calendar. So this one I did with touch markers. I did a base of all the flowers and the parrots in touch markers, and then I went in with the Castle Art pencils to do like the shading and making all the details on the flowers. So like here you can see how I've added all the little lines into the petals, and I've done the same for these purpley ones up here. And then I added some shade to the parrots as well, just using that. And then for the background itself, I used watercolours, so just normal watercolour paints, and then went over with a white Posca to add in some clouds into the background, just so that it wasn't all blue completely all over. I wanted it to be like a proper sky with some clouds in there. So yeah, that was everything that I coloured this month, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to let me know in the comments which one is your favourite and which one is your least favourite, and I will see you in the next video.